Hello out there. I always like, and you will see this often, I guess, in my style of art or whatever, like beams of light coming through. I happen to like that. So it's not necessarily a mistake when people see it often in a lot of the things I do. Like, I just find it fascinating how you see beams of light. And anyway, with all that being said just now, even though that's a weird intro to have, I'm Monica Arrington. I'm also known as Nerd Queen, singer, songwriter, composer, caretaker to my disabled brother, and I'm gonna vlog. So let me go over my stats this morning. So, uh, I've already done 2,000 steps this morning, and it's what, almost noon, almost 2,000 steps, and I got a full 12 hours sleep because I was so tired this past week. I'm also a teacher too, by the way. So, um, yeah, teach second grade. All right, so I'm gonna vlog because sometimes I've had the habit over the many years of journaling before performing, just because that's a time where I do have a lot of emotions that come up, and maybe I should do this like in video form. So I'm doing it now. I've been paying more attention to industry news, and so I'm gonna also incorporate a lot of industry news in that because I've been purposely avoiding it for the last, I don't know how many years, like 10, 7, 10 years or so, what's going on in the industry. But I'm kind of glad I have, because now I can give more fresh takes to a lot of things that are happening now, along with background knowledge that I have as a singer songwriter and a performer, like in the real world performing. Okay. And I'm saying that all for a reason. Now, if you want more of that kind of information from somebody who has not been saturated, I guess, and weathered by a lot of the things that has happened in the last 5 years when it comes to being a performer or being in the creative field, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel, Nerd Queen. You can Google me. I'm Googleable, if that's a word. All right, so first up, I'm a fan, and I always have been a fan of The Wizard of Oz and everything Wizard of Oz. Okay, I can make a whole spiritual video about the spiritual elements of The Wizard of Oz. But anyway, with all that, everybody's talking about Cynthia and Ariana, and I've got a take on that. Okay, so what I'm seeing so far is a lot of negative energy towards them, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know if it's jealousy or what is it to you. It's like, why are people so seemingly upset about the relationship between Cynthia and Ariana? And I'm acting like I know them personally or something, but it's kind of like I feel their pain in that. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of times when we're growing up, or a lot of creative people, they get persecuted a lot. And I mean a lot, a lot. Okay? And I can relate. And that's the reason why I call myself Nerd Queen. Okay, I'm gonna let my window up. People call you weird, odd, strange, those kind of things. And it's hard when you're growing up in certain communities. If you have a certain skin tone, if you grew up in a small town, if you're just trying to be who you really are, it's really hard. Okay. And then when you finally find people who are like you, and in a community, and you start developing a community of people who think like you, who feel like you, who are open like you are, then you really want to hold on tight to those folks. And I see it in, as a school teacher, I see that with little children too. And let's go into what some people are saying about their relationship. Like, um, they're saying that there's some sapo type elements to it, meaning like, are they gay or whatever? What's going on with them? And children, when they care about something or someone, it's almost like life or death. Okay. And again, I've seen this as a teacher where kids will go into fits of rage over their friend. Like, that's my friend. They belong to me, so it's almost to that level. So when I hear about their relationship, it just reminds me of that purity of, like, that's my friend, that's my ride or die. And I think we live in a community in the Western world where that's kind of frowned upon, because they think the only real relationship that you should have ride or die for, or let me make that two. Either it has to be a romantic relationship, or it has to be almost parental child relationship. How dare two maybe heterosexual people have that kind of relationship for each other? Right? Not to say that there's anything wrong with anybody having homosexual relationships of that nature as well. But we have a society where it's frowned upon to really care deeply about your friend. Okay? Back in the 20s and the 30s, when women were being more out in public spaces as creatives, it was hard. Okay? I've heard stories of people like um, Josephine Baker, sorry, and Bessie Smith having what was, I guess, called homosexual relationships. But the thing is, it's like sometimes you want to feel safe, and it's not about sex. Sometimes you just want to be around people who provide that safety for you. Okay? And that's how all I see when I see them together. Like, to me, it's refreshing. To me, it reminds me of having that pure emotion for your person. Okay? And it doesn't have to be sexual. If it is, then again, that's their business. That's their business. And so I'm pushing back on people pushing back on their relationship. The end, period, dot. And yes, I am going to watch the movie. So there's that. All right, next up on my agenda, AI music. Okay, so since me coming back and doing some research on what's going on in the music business and the music world right now, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm scared. I'm worried that there are a lot of people who are using AI and recreating music. That's what people are calling AI slop. And I don't know. I can see it as a tool, and I know that there are people using it as a tool, but then there are other people, they're making it. Sorry, I'm seeing like traffic behind me too. I'm seeing people use it in poorly executed ways, and then I'm seeing and hearing about people like Imogen Heap use it in innovative ways. Okay. And we could talk more about that. But as a musician myself, yeah, there are people who are purists, and there are people who say, well, I am a musician. If I type in these words, it's like, well, let's go back over what really artificial intelligence is doing. They're taking content from all of the internet, or more specifically, that's the reason why some of these companies are being sued right now from record companies, and they're regurgitating it. It's like putting stuff in a blender and spitting it out, basically. So they're stealing from people who, like, from humans, basically. And when people type in certain descriptors, basically AI is going and hunting and snatching, stealing those things from people and blending it up and spinning it back out. So that's what's going on with AI, and that's what's going on with a lot of lawsuits right now. And there's also talk of, and I don't know, this is again where I'm getting really kind of nervous. A lot of these record companies are starting now to partner with these AI companies. Like Universal just signed a deal with Udio, and there's another company that's now working in, like, along with a few other of the majors. And what's going to happen to the future of creativeness if First of all, I already knew a lot of these record labels, they're in it for the money. All they are just glorified banks. And they've, over the years lured in unsuspecting musicians to work for them, basically on borrowed money, you know? And once a person realizes what they've gotten themselves into, then they're on the hook with these record labels. Like, think about Prince. Think about even, the people who are into Taylor Swift. Like, she got into that situation and she got herself out of it. But there's so many countless people who have been basically suckered into signing with a major label or a semi or independent label that's attached to a major label. And now that with AI, if they're partnering up now, a lot of the major labels and the AI companies, what does that say for the consumers of these musics and whatever, What's going to happen to the musicians who still want to use their own to create? That really makes me highly concerned. Then there are those who are innovators. Again, let me mention Imogen Heap. She is now using that. There's a few others that are using it. I'm not saying I'm not going to use it, but I can see how I could use it, not to steal from others, but to help me be a better me. And, we can make that a bigger conversation later on. All right. And last, I'm not a fan of rap music. I'm just, if you know me, you already know. Like, there are certain things about rap music, and we can go into that. There's a whole nother conversation. But I recently noticed that T-Pain has come out with a new song, and it is kind of catchy. And the whole idea of it. I like the idea that he is writing like dad rap. Just like now that there's dad rock or mom rock or whatever, that the song is basically you need a club husband, or somebody who, if you've watched the video, you know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of funny, it's catchy, but think about it. Like, T-Pain is probably, I don't know how old he is. I'm probably older than him by like 7 to 10 years or whatever, but he's at an age where he's like, I'm settling down. It's like, why am I walking around pretending like I'm trying to grab the bag when I already got the bag? I'm middle-aged, okay? I got a job. I got kids. And we still enjoy music. And again, this could be a bigger conversation about how record companies and labels gear a lot of their music towards the youth, and how they know that the youth, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, people still listen to music no matter how old they are. We just don't want to keep listening to, oh, why doesn't that boy like me, or I'm trying to grab the bag and I'm dirt poor and this and that. It's like, T-Pain is appealing to his people. Okay? Like, people of a certain age, that they got a house, they got a lawn, they got a 401k. We just still want to enjoy music, right? And so I can totally understand uh him wanting to just be like, I still want to be myself. Why am I pretending like I'm something I'm not? I'm not trying to be on a yacht anymore. I'm at my house enjoying my TV in my front lawn and telling the children to get off my lawn. All right, y'all. So yes, I'm performing later tonight um, for a benefit for the Atlanta Food Bank. So make sure that you check out my you know pursuits and whatnot. So I try to go on live every once in a while. And if you happen to see this after the fact, still, hang out. You get a chance to talk to, see a real singer-songwriter doing her craft. Okay? With that, I'm going to say take care. Bye, y'all. Bye.